Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to the SRL TCR League Season 6. I am James Parfitt and I'm going to be joined in the booth once again for this absolutely epic season of racing by the one, the only, the Mr. Zach Sweeney is once again here with me. But we are here at the Grand Prix circuit at the Hockenheimring, 4.574 kilometers, 2.842 miles, capacity 70,000, and it opened in May 1932, and with a mixture of 16 corners, tight hairpins, long run, a parabolic or an into the Mercedes. It's going to be an absolutely epic evening here on the JPB and the SRL YouTube channel. Welcome in VJ Phil. Jay, hope you are well as well. I don't know who sent that tweet out, Jay. Whoever it was, I will sack my social media manager and let them know that it's not good to pinpoint somebody and call them Kylie Minogue. It's terrible. There, Zach, as if they're digging at you for spinning more times than anything at Okayama last season. Welcome in now, everybody, as well, and it's now the time to bring Zach into the booth. Good evening, Zach. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very elated, and obviously we've had the two practice days, if you will, the fun race, the media day. Now things start to ramp up a bit. They've been given their classes, and now it's for points. And in all fairness, touring cars, the Hockenheimring, interesting prospect for a season opener. I'm looking forward to it. I love the Hockenheimring. I love the touring cars. Here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one here as well. And it's looking like we've got a pretty much full grid of 36 cars. There are 40 registered for the series, but we've got 36 cars as we go into the last 3 minutes of practice. The format will be 3 lone laps of quali. Heat 1 will be 20 minutes and Heat 2 will be 20 minutes with a reverse top 20. And we have got last season's champion Dan Mould back once again to defend his championship. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, you know, this season, Zach. It's a tough field, very tough field.
It is. He was actually pushed to his limit quite a lot over the course of our, again, the 2 non-points race that we went to. He was pushed to his limits. It's definitely not going to be that easy for him. But I'm sure the likes of John Brown, Gary Craig was up there quite a lot as well. I can see Daniel Sedgley in the mix, a very, very good touring car driver in his own right. I mean, well, yes, he did get the championship last season. As you say, this season is going to be a whole different kettle of fish. Whatever excuses he's going to whip out the bag quite early on, I think, is a thing that remains to be seen. Oh, I was driving the Clio, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, he at the moment is setting the pace in practice, 3/10 clear of John Brown. But with that slipstream from turn 2 and 3 all the way through the parabolic into the hairpin, anything can happen. So bring it on. Dan Mould, what's he going to do in terms of a championship defence?
Yeah, well, I'm sure he hasn't got his excuses lined up already. He hasn't got these filing cabinet of excuses that he's going to bring, and we've heard as well, you know, I've made him slow by driving the Clio and yada, 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 all the other things at the same time. So, you know, it'll be interesting, I think, for Dan and what he does and how he goes about his business, and what I think will be good to see. He's got to obviously try and maintain that and gain his championship back. But as you say, with the likes of John Brown is looking very quick as well early on. Jay Corley's in here as well. Dan Sedgley is back in the Audi. He's going to be very quick as well. And there's quite a few new drivers in the pro class here. Andrew Lovesey, Cavani Delone is also here as well. Reese Watt. So there's a lot of new drivers that I think will be quite interesting to see how he gets on and how he's, you know, Sam Smith's back again as well. So there's going to be a lot of competition here for Dan Mould this season, and one that I think they're going to be able to take to the challenge. They're going to, really sort of give him and push him and see how he gets on. I think it's going to be an exciting season, to be honest. And with the 6 rounds that we have got, obviously here at the Hockenheimring, and round 2 at Oschersleben in 2 weeks' time, Catalonia National, Donny National, Zandvoort for round 5, and then Knock Hill International Reverse. Now, I don't want to be going racing down into turn 1 with 40 TCRs around me, Zach, let alone these guys.
Well, yeah. We have a really interesting Canada. Knock Hill in Reverse is one that, well, it can either go really well or really bad, to put it in the most bluntest way possible. It's going to be interesting, let's put it that way, but that is a long, long way away. Right now, we are at the Hockenheimring here in Germany. Love it or hate it, the new rendition of the circuit back in 2002, taken away from the dart through the trees, cutting off about 2 kilometers in circle length. Mm-hmm. I have to say, I do like the new layout of Hockenheim. I know a lot of people don't. I know I was watching the Rennsport ESL R1 broadcast a little bit earlier on with obviously the new esports and stuff. And Arjuna was saying that he doesn't like the new Hockenheimring compared to the old one. I was like, hang on, no. I honestly think it's a really, really good track. Obviously, if you like the classics, you're going to prefer the old one. But the new one, it still shines. I think there's still some really good places to get some overtakes done. The only thing is, though, it is quite flat. But, yeah, I don't know. Give and take.
I think it's everybody's preference, isn't it? I don't mind the old one. The difference with the old one is, obviously, you could see it was kind of very much straight, hairpin, straight chicane, round the corner, straight chicane. There wasn't a lot to it. But it gave that dimension of racing. When we covered it for the VWSC, for their modern series, we did the 250 kilometers of Hockenheim on the old track. It did produce great racing, but it was a different type of racing compared to what you see on this Grand Prix circuit. I think when you're going to bring something out like an historic series, I think whacking it on the old circuit's great. But I think the cars now are just built for this Grand Prix circuit. I don't think, you would see the same type of racing round here if it was on the old circuit. I think the close action TCRs that we're so used to are better in the Grand Prix circuit than they would be on a long run down and then a hairpin and or a chicane and so on and so forth. So yeah, mixed emotions, but they still did use turn 11 into the stadium section, of course, even on the old track round where we are now. But it just come in from the right hand, the far left-hand side, so you almost had another lane to the outside of the new track, and that's where they come in. But I think overall the type of racing here is probably more built for the Grand Prix circuit than it would be whacking them on the old very long 7.5 kilometer racetrack that they were on.
100%. I think touring cars in and of themselves don't really bode well with long straights and continuously having your foot to the floor in the highest gear at the highest rev range. It just doesn't suit touring cars as much. Maybe IndyCar and Formula One, obviously, that's more suited to them. But touring cars, they're small, they're nippy, they put their foot down, they accelerate quickly, then they brake again, they turn again. They're much more suited to the tight and twisty natures of Grand Prix circuits like the Hockenheimring, when we went to Alton Park and etc. Those types of circuits, that's more touring car racing, not straight, foot to the floor, 5th gear, 6th gear, brake, down to 1st, accelerate again, up to 6th gear. That's not really what touring cars are about. It's, there's a corner, chuck it up the inside. There's another corner, the guy on my left is going to chuck it back up the inside. That's what we love about touring cars. So I think the new rendition of the Hockenheimring is a good one. Obviously, with that, you do need some breakages between the corners, which I think the run from turn 3 all the way through the Parabolica into turn number 6 does that perfectly. It's the best balance you can ask for between tight and twisty with a bit of straight as well, and it's going to lend itself well to some overtaking. So this qualifying session that we're in, it might not be as important as it could be at other circuits.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that run out of down into turn 1, they've got to kind of get away, and you really kind of do want to be up that front end of the field. I think generally though that in an ideal kind of way, you look at it and think, do they want to be mid-pack? Do they want to be up the front? And without a shadow of a doubt, I would want to be up the front here. Now, even that run into the turn 2 and turn 3 and 4 section at the top part of the circuit there, I think they still need to be in the front end, because you can get round there, second gear, shift it round quite quick, because we're going to watch Gary Craig. He's going to come across the line in a moment. 3 purple sectors overall. Should be a pole lap. It is on a 153.3. but they do need to be able to get out in front. They've got to try and be at the front, because I think the midsection, that mid-pack, that towards the back of the field, could be complete carnage, especially if somebody takes turn one wide and then decides they want to come straight back on track, because if the space isn't there, it's going to be like a NASCAR big one. It will just go everything.
Everything, everywhere, essentially, yeah. I mean, let's find out. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt for now. We'll wait and see. Gary Craig, as it stands, sets the benchmark, a 150.33. It's a long lap in these touring cars. So Dan Mold sets his benchmark. It's 4 and a bit tenths off what Gary Craig did. So a bit more time in the hands of the reigning champion in the Honda Civic. So here we go. What can he do in terms of it? Picture in picture. There's John Brown in the car. Great little insight there to seeing sort of how he's getting on, where his head's looking. You can see there how going into the Mercedes Arena section, his head is actually pointed to the next corner beyond where he's looking. And that is really what you want to do as a racing driver. Look ahead of where you're going. Look to the next apex. So much so by the time you get there, you've already figured out what you're going to do.
Yeah, John now as well. That's what he sees on his car in the bottom right. And that's what he's doing as he is heading around now. And it's great insight into VR. I think it's a different dimension when you're driving in VR. I personally have never, ever tried VR whatsoever, partly because I don't know if it would just make me physically ill. I've got to be honest. I think seasickness is bad enough, let alone trying to go around there. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be a lover of VR or not, Zach. I've got to be honest. What about yourself?
I'd like to do it. I've never done it, purely because I've not really indulged in like looking into getting a VR headset. But from what I've done, my brother won a VR headset a couple of years ago, and I love doing that. We sort of played the first-person shooter games with it and stuff, and some of the boxing games and stuff, and that was fun. It was immersive. You got into it. You were moving around. I would love to do it in sim racing, because the way you can look around, you can look at everything. It's as immersed as you're gonna get into the sim racing field. But yeah, again, I've just not really had the opportunity to do it as much as I'd love to, and as much as I would love to get into it. I don't know, just not really had the opportunity. I don't know. It's not really at the top of my bucket list. Sim racing is not really something I do actually doing it anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just not really happened. But if someone come up to me and said, "Do you want to jump on my VR headset and do a lap of the Northside or whatever?" I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up. I'm going to do it." Because I don't know, it just seems fun. Maybe the seasickness is just you getting a bit old, James. I don't know. And I'm gone, right? I've got a red dot on my forehead, and I'm waiting for someone to pull the trigger.
There's a mute button with Zach's name on it as well. VR all the way, says VJ. Sick new thing to have. John Stream on FYI. Thank you very much for that, mate. That is John in his car. We did have one for Dan, but it was playing havoc for Dan's frame rate on his computer, and he wasn't happy. He was like, "James, it's not working." I was like, "Okay, Dan, don't bother. Don't worry. We'll get it sorted out. It's fine." So we'll get Dan Mould on there next week once he sorts it out. So let's see what will happen with that one. But it's nice to see what John sees there, and it's quite a good addition here as well. As we watch Gary Craig go round once more, green all the way. Is he going to be able to take pole away from Mole? He is. 1:49.892. He's done his 3 laps. What about Dan Mould? He's about 2.7 points. I don't know, 2.7 round. No, hold on. I've got to figure out the words in a minute. Let's just say he's coming round to the end of his 3rd lap. How about that? You know what I mean?
Easily done.
Easily done. And they have only got 3 laps, so, but it is going to be an interesting one here as well. Pretty much most people have, apart from Hilton Nickerson, who has not done his 3 laps yet. What about Mould? What's Mould going to be able to do here? He's got a purple in the last sector. 49.832. Takes it right at the end there. Dan Sedgey's not having a good time here. It's green across the board all the way. Where's Sedgey going to bounce himself up to? 9th overall. That's not ideal. Jay Corley, what about Jay? Where did you put yourself as well? Jay goes into 12th there. And Fraser Garrity down in 24th for Insignia Racing. He's got about a couple of laps left. He's not going to have much time to do them, a couple of laps. So we'll have to see here what he can do on this lap as well. But it is a very tough circuit here, isn't it, Zach? And I think it's one that's going to test the drivers on what they're going to be able to do in this car.
100%. You really do have to be on the limit here. There's so many different tests of speed and tests of ability. The Mobile 1 curve, just as you go into the Sachs curve, where in 2018 we saw Sebastian Vettel go off that very quick flick to the right. Such a tricky corner, and especially in these front-wheel drive touring cars, the car is going to be on the absolute limit. So you really have to be so precise with where you brake, where you turn, where you get back onto the power. And that's universal over the course of the entire circuit. It's so challenging when these cars have got front wheel drive, because the fronts are doing the turning, the accelerating, the braking. They're taking so much force through them. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true for any circuit, but I guess more so the Hockenheimring with its balance of high and mid-speed corners. It's going to be a good one for sure. But, I mean, I'm interested because the close qualifying, 0.06 of a second between the top two, how insanely close it is. I think between both classes, the pros and the AMs, it should be a fairly memorable start to the season.
It should definitely be as well, and one that we can hopefully open it up with a bang, and it should be fine. Was a gamer, mean good luck. Okay, not sure what we missed in the process there, but there we go. Right, the grid is up on the screen. Dan Mould is your pole man with Gary Craig in second, Andrew Lovesey third, Jono Johnson fourth, John Brown fifth, Matt Elmore sixth, Reese Watt seventh, Steve Howard is in eighth. Reese the leading AMs as well there. Dan Surgley ninth, Kev Eilert 10th, Craig Waters 11th, and Jay Corley down in 12th place. Fraser Garrity 13th, Stephen Fry 14th, JB Deju 15th, Sam Smith 16th, Alan McCain 17th, Deck Carver 18th, Dan Lewis 19th, Jonathan Cook 20th, Luke Jones 21st, Russell Fowler 22nd, Fraser Alexander 23rd, Elliot James 24th, Tom Bingham 25th, Jessica Rakowski 26th, Ian Smith 27th, James Ellis 28th, Neil Forbes 29th, Andy Thompson 30th, Ryan Dudley 31st, Steve Woodcock 32nd, Cabernet Delaunay in 33rd, Chris Barnes 34th, Neil Ridley 35th, and Hilton Nickerson down in 36th place, and the final place on the grid here as well. And we are just waiting for our pole man. There he is, Mr. Mould in the famous number 80 car. It'll have to be retired, Zach, I think, when Dan Mould gives up racing, because he's so used to him being in the 80 car. Will we retire the number? That's going to be the question.
It'll probably be 80 by the time we have to even think about that, let's be honest. I mean...
Well, I might be. I don't know about you.
I meant Dan Mould would have to be 80 before you can drag him out the cockpit. I mean, yeah, he's going to keep going until he's, frail and physically can't turn the steering wheel. He'll probably have his force feedback on negative numbers just to deal with the crippling joints that he's got in his hands and feet. But he'll find a way, nonetheless. And, well, is he going to find a way to victory today?
Yeah, definitely there as well. Gamer K, my monitors have decided not to work as triples now, so don't think I'm going to make the first race. Is that Cabernet Delaunay, do you think? Let me know if it is you, Cabernet. Here we go. Lights are up. 3, 4, 5. And we are green for the first race, round 1 of the season. And it is Dan Mould currently out in front. Going down into turn 1 with Gary Craig right next to him. Craig's going to take the inside line and take the lead earlier on. Andrew Lovesey is going to be in third. And then Kev Eilert is also here as well, with Fraser Garrity down in 11th and 12th on that run up into turn 2. There's moves further up as well. Matt Elmore has just cleared Jono Johnson. Oh, there we go. That was Reese Watt there, nearly sending it out the inside of John Brown. And it's not been a bad start. Neil Ridley is off track, unfortunately, but he's still going there. But everybody currently through, and it's Gary Craig out in front.
It is, but for how much longer? The drag race now in towards the hairpin. Dan Mould etching his nose ahead, side by side between the pair of them. You can see the Honda trying to move his way through, but Gary Craig keeping him honest side by side as they run their way in towards the hairpin for the first time. Who's going to emerge victorious? Both run each other wide. Could Andrew Lovesey get himself underneath the pair of them? 3 wide as we hurdle our way towards the Mercedes Arena section. The Audi RS3 has the line on the inside. Bit of contact between the pair of them. Lovesey gets his way ahead. Mould versus Craig in towards the left-hander.
Yeah, Craig's going to try and cut back underneath him now. He's taking that tighter line round through Mercedes, and they're still running 3 wide out earlier on. Mould's gone round.
Oh!
Is he going to hold it? He did. Tokyo Drift star for Dan Mould. He managed to hold it. but it was Andrew Lovesey there with contact. But then if you're going to take it free wide, that's what you've got to expect. I'm sorry, but you can't go free wide in a turn and hope for love nor money that you're going to make it through. It's just not going to work, guys. No offence, but it is Mould now with John Brown. And Mould is in the Honda. He's come away from the Hyundai this year, and John Brown has gone down to the Audi, so that's going to be quite interesting. But I think John and Dan are going to be side by side battling here as well, with Reece Watt in the AM, the leading AM, currently sitting in 7th place.
Yeah, indeed so. He's doing a fantastic job, it must be said. I mean, to be in an AM and be that high up ahead of a good half of the pro field, in all fairness. I mean, actually over half of them. He's doing a brilliant job and actually putting some pressure on the reigning champion in some regards. And he actually is doing that, maybe trying to find some space. Dan Mould trying to pick his way through on John Brown into turn number 2. John Brown able to keep him honest on the outside, but bit of a slide there from Mould, and Watt finds his way through. It's gone from bad to worse, and there's so many cars around him. One mistake, one tarnish of your momentum, and it's downhill from there.
Yeah, it is. He's dropped all the way down now as well. Fraser Garrett is second in the AM, chasing down Dan Sedgley in front of him currently at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting one here, I think, as well. Battles all the way through, guys. There's Luke Jones there from JW Motorsport with Elliot James from Insignia battling away here. And it's currently going to be Jones on the inside. He's going to get it this time around, Zach. And there's one there, I think, he's going to be done and dusted. But there's a move on the inside as well from Russell Fowler. And Fowler's come through and said, well, why you two fight? I'm going to take it. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
So what you've got to do is exactly what Andrew Lovesey did on the first lap with Craig and Mould, was the sense that, cool, you're fighting, you're off the track, off you go, that's my job. And, well, I'm up into the lead. Unfortunately, he's down to 3rd place now, but that's sort of the dynamic that you have to settle into in races like this. Look at that. You can't even pick the cars apart. They're just bumper to bumper, the entire grid all the way back. The biggest gap is between 1st and 2nd. That's around 1.8 seconds. The rest of them separated by virtually nothing, and even less than that as they run their way in towards the final couple of curves. The Sud curve, the south curve, if you like, if you translated it quite literally, towards the south end of the circuit. Picture in picture, there's John Brown, and I would hate to be in VR if this was the context of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. John is going to have to try and get onto the back of Jono Johnson, but he has got Steve Howard closing him down currently at the moment there as well. That's what Steve sees. He's chasing down Brown in front currently. John Brown going into turn 2 here. How is this going to work? Well, we're just going to have to see how it comes out. But John is having a good old fight with Jono Johnson, and one that we will keep an eye on as well as we look back. And there is Jono, there is John in the bottom right-hand corner, and John is chasing him down now with 15 minutes on the clock.
Pretty important of the way tick through, short and sharp, cheap and cheerful really are these races. Lovesey gets his way past Matt Elmore up in a 2nd place, 2 seconds up to the race leader. It's turned itself into a race for 2nd. Jono Johnson has got, obviously looking back, he's got John Brown on his tail. Which way is he going to go? Is it going to be side by side between Elmore and Lovesey? Actually, maybe into the Mercedes Arena section. No changes, but 4 cars, nose to tail, a little bit wide from Lovesey. It's not been the first time we've seen that. It's pretty much a carbon copy of what happened on lap number 1, and Matt Elmore is continuing to pile on the pressure. So beautiful stuff, and side by side actually that fight for 3rd, Lovesey versus Jono Johnson, drag racing towards turn number 1. That's going to halt their progress and maybe knock them out of contention for 2nd place. They all settle in to a single file train as they work their way through, but here's Johnson searching for the gap, gets covered off by Lovesey. The battle of the 2 Audis in towards turn number 2. Outside line for Johnson. It's the long way round, of course, but he might be able to get the up and under, the switchback, foot to the floor first, maybe use the slipstream, or push Lovesey and not let Elmore get away. Oh, absolutely. You have to weigh up the risks side by side. Brown and Johnson as they emerge out of the Mercedes Arena section now in towards the stadium. And, well, it's just a case of picking them off one by one, searching for the opportunities and committing to the bit. Dan Mould is in this train, let's not forget. If he just works his way through nice and comfortably, there's the move from Halewood. He's going to try and go side by side. Johnson still on the outside though. It's still the long way round through the left, inside for the right, inside for the next right as well. The advantage swings his way back to Johnson. He's able to retain the top 5, but here comes Dan Mould. The door opens, he finds his way through, steps his foot in and says, thank you very much, I'm coming in. Huge stuff, and obviously turn number 1, one of the quickest corners on the circuit. We're going to take another look as to how things happen. Riding on board with Halewood, all good now. Bit of twitch, bit of out of shape, riding over the curb as if he's Tony Hawk. Then it gets out of shape. Bam! Spin. How he didn't take out half the field, I don't know. Still not great. The danger was there, and understandably so. That's the end of his race 1.
Time as well, so there was battles all the way through the field, and one that basically is going to just carry on all the way. So here we go. Can't hear JP on the SRL. Oh, what's going on? You should be able to hear me. Oh, there we go. Black dog apparently, is that? There we go.
Welcome back, James. Yeah,
Thanks,
here we go.
mate.
I've just been talking to myself. I don't have the volume on, so honestly, yeah, but that'd be a bit awkward having you in my ear twice. I mean, it's bad enough once, I'll be honest. No, I'm joking.
Wow, he's pushing your luckness into young sir,
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was too good of an opportunity to pass up, I'll be honest.
Like a child
anyway,
testing boundaries you are, dear sir.
I'm going to find the naughty corner very, very soon. Let's put it that way.
You definitely are, mate.
Yeah, it was worth it. I'll take that. Honestly, the smile that put on my face was too good to be true.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was a good one, but yeah. Well, welcome back to the broadcast, James. Your lovely VCO Simi nominated award-winning voice. Well, not quite winning, but nominated voice is there. So there we go. They get to hear you for the remaining half of this race, and what a race it has been. Not for that Jay Corley.
Yeah, Corley's gone round. Unfortunately, I could say just as Twitter predicted, but I won't be so harsh to Jay Corley. Was it all on his own? That's going to be the question. Oh, no. Well, kind of. He goes in a bit hot, doesn't he? And then he gets spun from the car behind. So, unfortunately, Jay Corley has gone round, has dropped all the way down the field in 27th place at the moment there as well. But it is still John Brown fighting away with love, seeing Jono Johnson tucked up right behind him here with Dan Mould behind that, trying to get onto the back, not really managing it at the moment, Zach, as well. And it looks like John Brown's got the run on him, kind of currently at the moment in this little battle, but he has got Jono Johnson for company here. It depends on what Brown's going to be able to do. I'll be interested to see how he gets on and whether or not he's going to be able to give love, see a bit of a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Final stages, obviously, of this race. As each lap ticks down, that's one less opportunity to find a way through. On the limit through turn number 1. Any changes going into the second braking zone? Not really. That's not really where you want to make the moves. It's all about when you put your foot flat to the floor and climb up the rev range, climb up the gears, build the MPH, and well, who's going to be prevailing by the time they slam on the anchors. John Brown getting a fantastic look at the rear end of Lovesey in front. The gap is closing. He can see himself getting closer. Enough so for Lovesey to go to the inside. The gap closes on the outside, so no movement really from Brown. But you can see how hard he is pushing that steering wheel, and they have nose to tail as they exit the hairpin.
Yeah, they're still going here as well. Currently on the run up into turn 7, turn 8. John Brown with Lovesey battling away for the front. Gary Craig is off up the road, 3.8 seconds at the moment here, so he is currently doing an absolute job, and I think one that can be proud of as well for Gary Craig's done an absolutely incredible job. Got out in front, kind of led, didn't he? Took the start, and that was it really. Job done for him. But Craig Walters is not job done for him, as we got Dan Sedgley in front, behind him, battling away here as well, and got that run out of turn 11 into 12 before he goes diving up the inside. Is he going to be able to dive up the inside here? He's not. The door's closed by Walters, but he's also got Reese Watt, who's under so much pressure from Fraser Garrity for the AM lead currently as well, Zach. It's going to be tough for either of these to get through.
Indeed so. It's a tough circuit at some points to overtake, especially when you're in packs of cars like this, because you've got to be mindful of each and every single one of your actions, because one step out of line could be disastrous. Side by side as they run their way through, Walters versus Sedgley, almost, well, they actually did try and go side by side to turn number 1. Of course, it is going to be Walters that reigns supreme on that particular skirmish as they work their way through. Obviously now this is the fight for the AMs. It's Watt now trying to go to the outside. He actually has settled himself back in amongst the AM guys, and well, here we go, Garrity. Well, here we go, a fight for the lead in the AMs. This is brilliant stuff. It's a shame we don't have that in pros.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I think Watt's trying to play a very tactical game here. I think if he decides that he's going to stick more cars between himself and the other guys, I think he's trying to hope for the help with Fraser Garrity, but unfortunately Sedgley and Waters make contact. He's trying to go, Waters trying to get involved here as well. Garrity's sitting back, he's almost like he knows something's going to happen, but I'm not entirely sure what Garrity's hoping will happen. I think, don't get me wrong, running 3 wide is never a good idea in general, especially when, oh, that's going to happen! Waters there, big off by Sedgley. Huge! Oh my God, blimey, that was at high speed as well. And I think he got tapped, didn't he, from Walters coming down into Mercedes. Walters comes back on track, just spoons him. Look at that.
Wow. That is a lonely wheel bouncing, and a Olympus Esports TCR car finding his way back into the pit lane. Unsurprisingly so, I'll be entirely honest. That was a big one. It happens when you're racing that hard, it must be said. But, well, we're back to this fight. Gary Craig, 4 seconds clear of Matt Elmore, 1.5 seconds clear of this fight. Andrew Lovesey, John Brown, Jono Brown, Dan Mould. A podium is still on the cards despite the poor lap one.
Yeah, definitely there as well. John Brown and Jono Johnson here as well, and Dan Mould trying to get up to the inside as well. He's having a go at Jono Johnson, not going to be able to make it through as well. Further down in the AMs though, we have got Chris Barnes with Tom Bingham, Russell Fowler, and also Kevin Delaunay fighting it out as well here. These guys are down in 23rd, 22nd and 21st place. So there's battles all the way through, with John Cook trying to make a break for it. He's trying to get onto the back of Jessica Rakowski with Ryan Dudley in front of her currently at the moment. So there's battles all the way through the field. These guys putting on an absolute stellar job here as well in the round 1, and we've got 4 minutes on the clock. Andrew Lovesey is under attack from John Brown, going round through turn 7 into Mercedes they go. Turn 8, Lovesey's going to have the inside. Is Brown going to run him around the outside? There's going to be a slight little bit of contact there as well. Jono Johnson wants to get involved. Contact again. Oh, Brown's just had enough. He's had enough of Andrew Lovesey. Shoulder taps him off, gives him a barge like he's playing football. Bye-bye, Andrew Lovesey, down into 6th place. There's that.
Easily done. Fighting tooth and nail this hard. One dent in your momentum, one change of the swing of things and it can tip itself back on its head. It is so easy for the pendulum to swing one way, then straight away the other. Lovesey, he's got his work cut out for him to claw his way back to the top of this fight. Matt Elmore seems fairly secure in that second place here on board with John Brown, though. I'm sure he wants to go and catch, but he just hasn't been able to because of the unrelenting pressure of those in behind.
Yeah, he's just literally been at it for the whole entire 10 laps currently at the moment. And he's just been fighting and fighting and fighting. Fraser Garrett's just done the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to get onto the back of Craig Waters. He needs Waters kind of to get on and attack Reece Watt, just to be able to give Garrity a chance at the AM victory, because obviously we've got this pro and AM battle, and Garrity wants to try and get there, but just can't get there at the moment. And he's got Waters in the middle. He needs Waters to put Watt under pressure. I know this is different classes, and we talk about this every time we have a multi-class race like that. Do they need to race each other? Well, clearly Reece Watt is fast. Leaning on there as well. Craig Waters leaning on Watt, going around the parabolica. Here we go into the Spitzker. I think he's going to try and come back on the inside. He is. It's now going to be a straight run up into turn 7. Craig Watt on the left-hand side. Craig Waters on the left-hand side. Reece Watt on the right-hand side. And Gary's tucked up behind him in that Insignia car. And what do we think here, Zach? Can he really, should Watt be involved? Does he need to be involved? What's the situation we think? Gary's going to send it free wide. Oh, he's being lent on. Oh, that could be dangerous.
What is the situation with Watt is the question. I mean, yeah, that is a lot of Watt. A lot of power to his name in the lead of the race. Let's also remember that. I'm just throwing all I can here. I'm digging myself deep with every pun that I...
Pun it up, mate. Pun it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, he's charging up. It is Reece Watt. He's fighting tooth and nail for the race lead here at the Hockenheimring. Fraser Garrity trying his absolute best to put some pressure on and go for the race lead. Fortunately, they've got that 3.5 second gap back to Deju, but 1 lap left to go. What is going to come out on top? I don't even mean to do it anymore. It's just coming out. The Audi RS3, we'll stop calling it by his name, I suppose, has now got 1 more lap around the Hockenheimring to try and hang on to this lead.
Yeah, Watt's bringing the electric tonight, and he's out in front of the pros. I'm sorry.
Disgusting. It is actually disgusting.
Oh, dear me. Final lap of the race here. Gary Craig out in front, Matt Elmore second, John Brown third, Jono Johnson fourth, Dan Mould fifth, Lovesey 6, Waters in 7th place. Oh, it's all coming off here now. What can we do about that? It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Overall, there are the standings there as well, and it's all going off with the AMs mixing it in with the pros. Cook's not having a good time down in 17th at the moment. Delaunay down in 20th. Alexander down in 22nd place. But here we go now for this final run. Cam Mould clear Jono Johnson. It's going to be a difficult one for him, I think. I don't think he's going to be able to. Can Watt get past Craig Waters? It looks like Waters has cleared Watt, and Garrity now is going to try and get hold of Watt before the end of the lap. Again, I don't think that's going to be possible, Zach, here, but we have got Gary Craig coming around the final few corners.
He's done a brilliant job. Up a place, got the jump on Dan Mould at the start, fought 3 wide, held on brilliantly, hasn't looked back since. A great way to start his season.
Race 1 Pro will be Gary Craig. He's going to come across the line. Absolutely stellar job from him there as well. Unbelievably, job done from Gary Craig by about 4.8 seconds over Matt Elmore. John Brown manages to survive here with Jono Johnson and Dan Mould. How is this AM battle getting on? Well, Reece Watt has put Sam Smith in between them, and he's going to come across the line and take the AM victory. And Watt there takes the victory there with Garrity in 2nd place. So great job from him there as well. And well, that was an incredible race 1, you would have thought.
Can't really think of many better ways to start a season, maybe with Craig not finishing 5 seconds ahead, but apart from that, great way to sign it off. Now we get to do it all over again for race number 2. I'm looking forward to it. The Hockenheimring doesn't disappoint.
Definitely doesn't here as well. Ooh, who's that? Chris Barnes. A little bit excited at the end of the race there. Well done, Chris. Good job. But we will bring you up the results here as well. Just waiting for, I believe it's Luke Jones. He's just crossed the line there. But we should have the results very, very shortly. Don't forget, we have got a top 20 reverse for race 2. So we'll have to see how that one pans out. We've got Ellis, Howard, Lewis and Fowler still currently on the track. There is Howard, he's just coming into turn 12. And then Dan Lewis behind him with Russell Fowler also on that run through turn 11 into 12 he goes as well. Adam Wright, I think this is where we were at, isn't it? Watt is entitled to build as big a gap he can to the guy behind, and if that means putting cars in between themselves, then didn't say anything else. But yes, I fully agree with you. I think he did have, if he is fast and he can keep up with the pros, then he's entitled to stay there.
At the end of the day, if he's quicker, he's quicker. He can't help if the pros are slightly slower. He's just driving within his limits, driving to his capabilities. He's got a race win on the line. All he sees are targets to get out of his way and, in fact, tools to maybe bridge the gap as best he can. But here's how they racked up after the end of race 1.
Yeah, Gary Craig is in first, Matt Armour second, John Brown third, Jono Johnson is in 4th place, Dan Mould 5th, Andrew Lovesey 6th, Craig Waters 7th, Reece Watt the leading Am in 8th, Sam Smith 9th, Fraser Garrity 10th, JB Deju in 11th, Stephen Fry in 12th, Deck Carver 13th, Alan McCain 14th, Ryan Dudley is in 15th, Jonathan Cook 16th, Jessica Rakowski down there in 17th place, Elliot James 18th, Kev Eilert 19th, Cavani Delaunay in 20th, Tom Bingham 21st, Fraser Alexander 22nd, Steve Woodcock 23rd, Neil Forbes 24th, Andy Thompson 25th, Chris Barnes 26th, Hilton Nicholson 27th place. Then on from that we've got Ian Smith in 28th, Jake Corley 29th, Luke Jones 30th, James Ellis 31st, Steve Howard 32nd, Dan Lewis 33rd, Russell Fowler 34th, Neil Ridley in 35th, and then behind that we have got the Dan Sedgley who finished in 36th place there as well. Dan was in YouTube chat. Has anyone got any paracetamol? Well, Zach, that was an absolute horrendous hit that Sedgley went through there as well, and one that I'm not really surprised he needs paracetamol for.
I think he just needs a good insurance company more than anything. Injury lawyers for you maybe is a good shout. I mean, you might get a good claim from that. I mean, yeah, it was a big old hit, but let's hope he had a good helmet on. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's plenty of good helmet manufacturers out there. Let's hope he had the top end, because I'm sure his head absolutely smacked against that steering wheel. However, I don't want to say I would love to see it, but I would be interested to see John Brown in an incident like that and how interesting it looks in VR. Let's put it that way.
Definitely there as well. We've got Gary Craig in the interview room waiting for a chat. Gary, how are you, sir? Welcome in. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. That was a good one. I think I'll take the peace and quiet slightly in front of the chaos.
Yeah, I would do as well. It was like a nice little Sunday drive. When it got out in front, Dan Mould went round and it all caused a little bit of chaos behind. And then you just went on and chilled and 6.5 seconds down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I got a good start there, got a good jump on Dan, and then got into turn 2 and didn't have the heat that I was expecting. So Dan got back alongside, and then we, like on the exit of that hairpin there, just when 2 cars touched a little bit, we both dragged each other wide, which put us 3 wide. And yeah, I think Dan had a bit of an unfortunate netcode there with, was it Andrew? And then, yeah, that's the break I needed. I got in the zone from there, I think. But yeah, glad to get that one under the belt.
Yeah, good, definitely as well. What's the plan for race 2? Top 20 reverse, mate. You're going to have to come through the field, aren't you?
It looks like it's top 15 these days, which helps a bit because race 2s were never my forte. I got quite a lot of bad luck, and I just really want to try and keep it clean and try to work forward. That was the undoing of my title charge last year, as if there even was one, was race 2s. So, yep, just going to try and keep it clean.
Yeah, absolutely there as well, mate. Well, thank you so much for joining us, bud. And we'll look forward to having a chat. Maybe if you get a victory in race 2.
Fingers crossed. It's a hard ask, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah, definitely there. Thank you for joining us there, bud, as well.
Cheers.
Right, that was Gary Craig in the booth there. I am wondering, has it gone to top 15? And I always thought it was top 20. Maybe it was top 15.
Don't ask me. I'm relying on what you've been telling me, James. I mean, if it's false information.
Yeah, all right. Don't be picky.
Okay. I'm digging. Do you sell shovels? I mean, I could use a good one.
You're not doing yourself too well here this evening, young sir, are you? No, it says reverse top 20 for the feature. Unless Oh,
My
well,
brain's
look,
too small for this, James. You can't be doing this to me.
well, the promotion poster said top 20. Everything says top 20, so I'm going to rely that it's top 20. Unless something's changed that I'm not aware of as well. But there we go. All in all, we'll just keep plugging along. Having to start from the pit lane isn't the one, says the Gamer K. No, definitely not. Not ideal. Yes, mate, I am Cavani. Okay, mate, that's fine. How do you say your first name? Is it Cabernet? Cabernet Delaunay? Maybe I am right. Sounds about right, doesn't it, I think? 20 seconds left of warm-up before we go into race 2. Send prayers. Why do you need prayers?
After what you're going to say to me when we come off air.
No, I'm not like that. As long as we can have a laugh and a joke while we're doing this little exit, amazing esports racing that we cover here on the JPB YouTube channel, that's all that matters. Makes it a little bit more interesting. We don't want to be all like serious and
serious is boring. Normal is for boring people, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want to do
special.
Yeah, exactly. We do it in a different way here on the JPB YouTube channel. We respond to YouTube chat as well, which is always good. So there we go. Right, grid is coming up now for race 2. Ryan Dudley is in first, Alan McCain in second, Deck Crowther third, Stephen Fry fourth, Jamie Deju fifth, Fraser Garrity sixth, Sam Smith seventh, Reese Watt eighth, Craig Waters ninth, Andrew Levacy 10th, Dan Moe down in 11th with Jono Johnson next to him in 12th, John Brown 13th, Matt Armour 14th, Gary Craig 15th, so it is a top 15. John Cook 16th, Jessica Rakowski 17th, Elliot James 18th, Kev Eilert 19th, Cabernet Delaunay 20th, Tom Bingham 21st, Fraser Alexander 22nd, Steve Woodcock 23rd, Neil Forbes 24th, Andy Thompson 25th, Chris Barnes 26th, Hilton Nicholson 27th, Ian Smith 28th, Jay Corley down in 29th, Luke Jones 30th, James Ellis 31st, Steve Howard 32nd, Dan Lewis 33rd, Russ Fowler 34th, Neil Ridley 35th, and Dan Sedgley down in 36th. And I spit read that because we're just about to be going green very, very shortly here once more on this race, and the lights are coming on already here, and here we go once more for race 2 into the breach, my dear, and it is Ryan Dudley leading us away straight up at the beginning with Alan McCain, Deck Crowther and Stephen Fry. Alan McCain has got that inside line into turn 1, but he's going to be, he's going to take a big dose of curb there as well, but he manages to get holding through. There's a big incident further back as well. Oh man, a lot of people gone off there as well. You can see them all in the background strewn across the track, and unfortunately it looks like out picture man John Brown is also sitting at the back there, unfortunately for him as well. I would say everyone was free and cleanly there, Zach, but I don't think they have been.
No, not the vast majority of people anyway. There's just people everywhere, cars everywhere. Reverse grid nature is always going to throw a spanner into the works. But what's going to happen as we decide the run in towards the hairpin for the first time? Inside line trying to pick their way through. You can see John McCain under a bit of pressure from Deck Crowther as they work their way through. Nothing really changing too much. Everyone running single file amongst some of the top 8. But behind that is an absolute war zone. It looks like the M1 essentially in rush hour, just everyone everywhere, all parking up, all Constantina up on the very slow apex, the slowest corner on the circuit, of course. Once again, it's like an accordion, they stretch out, they shrink back up together again, but so far so good, it must be said for Ryan Dudley out in front.
Yeah, currently Dudley's out in front by 1 second. VJ, can you stop giving me grief in the chat, please? My eyes are perfectly fine, I wear glasses for a reason. Doesn't mean I can see, but I wear glasses for a reason. As well, Jessica Rakowski has just cleared Cabernet Delaunay, and okay, maybe not. They're going to be running side by side here. There's the view from Craig Waters as these guys go too wide around. No. I thought they were going to spin each other off there. That was always going to be tricky when you're going from front to back, and then a little bit of contact there would have just put them both round, unfortunately, for Jessica Rakowski and Craig Waters battling away nicely here as well. Kev Eilert is in the mixers, and he's just got past Elliot James fighting away side by side at the moment as well. There's battles further back. Jay Corley's trying to come through the field with Steve Woodcock, Dan Sedgley. Sedgley's under side by side nearly with Forbes. Forbes settles back in behind him as they go through turn 1. But Deck Crowther and Alan McCain are fighting out up the front here with Steve Fry, Fraser Garrity, Sam Smith and Dan Mould.
Wow, opening race. Starts to this, they don't get much better, let's put it that way. I mean, great stuff on display from the SRL TCR boys. There's very wide there. McCain takes the leads, and Dudley relinquishes it and relinquishes the podium, relinquishes the top 5, maybe even, whatever that caused, a slowdown maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but there we go. That's one way to lose the race lead.
Yeah, I think Dudley did get a slowdown there because he was very, very slow. Obviously, slow down. Keep going. Sam Smith and Ryan Dudley here battling away with Dan Mould and Reese Watt is back up there again. He's not gained any positions, mind you, but he is in the same position he was earlier on, and there will be the gainers and losers on the left-hand side. You can see who's gone where. Down 10 is Jono Johnson. It looks like Jono Johnson, Tom Bingham, Chris Barnes have all been involved once again in another little ta-ta-ta, and it doesn't bode well for these guys here, because it definitely looks like something's happened, as they're trying to go 4 wide at one point. Strewn across the track, it's not going to happen. Oh, Jono Johnson hits the brakes. Everybody else kind of follows in as well. They concertina up, but he's managing to survive another day, is Jono Johnson, with Alan McCain out in front with Denton Crowder, Stephen Fry, Fraser Garrity and Ryan Dudley all coming through. Your top 5 with Sam Smith in 6th, Dan Mould in 7th, fighting away to try and get up to the front of him here, Zach. Is he going to be able to do it, or do we think he's just got to pick off one by one?
I think you just have to pick your targets, send the move, look to the next one and go for that. I think that's the only game plan really. Dan Mould though searching for the slipstream, no gap on the inside, late break into the outside of turn number 2. Brilliant stuff from the reigning champion. Is it enough to see him have the inside for turn number 3? Indeed it is. However, outside line swinging the way of Sam Smith, who did take him to the wire in the championship. Side by side as they run their way through the parabolica. They've also got to be careful of Reese Watt in the background as well. Is he going to make it 3 wide? I mean, Dan Mould all the way to the left is not really going to be the best positioning for him. Left-hand side of shot of the track, right-hand side of shot, getting a little bit argy-bargy as they run their way through. Dan Mould unable to move his way past up inside the top 6. That is not what he wants. He does not want his progress halted whatsoever. He needs every overtake to be a stepping stone, jump by jump by jump, and climb his way up the grid.
Yeah, but the problem is he's not got anyone slow in front of him. You know, you are literally now with Sam Smith. It's not like he's sitting back thinking, oh, well, this is nice and easy. And he's got the flying Reese Watt behind him, of course. We can see what Watt's capable of, as he took the arm wing last time out as well. So it's going to be a difficult situation for Mould to really go any further because of the cars in front of him. Smith, he might get past Dudley, Crowell and Garrett if he can, but whether or not he's going to catch Stephen Fry and Alan McCain, that's going to be a different scenario altogether. And when you're running so close, one mistake from the car in front, well, we've seen it before, Zach, where they all end up getting involved, and it just looks like a one big mess of wreckage of metal everywhere once they start going. Oh, blimey, he ain't giving up here. Reese Watt is definitely going after that position. Fraser Garrity is definitely trying to get past Stephen Fry as well down into turn 1 here, Zach. It's all looking very, very close with 14 minutes still remaining.
Indeed, still a long way left to go. It's weird to think we're only 6 minutes in. I don't know, it just seems like a lot has happened in such a small amount of time. A very densely packed race, and it has no signs of slowing down. Here is Fraser Garrity on the back of Stephen Fry. The fight for second as Alan McCain is stretching the advantage out in front. I have to say, I didn't ever expect Alan McCain to be leading the race. He was really sort of an outside shot, quite a one you'd put into the corner really, and I don't want to say overlook, but kind of do. And that's exactly what I did coming into today, but he's looking very good in terms of reverse grid races. Here is Jay Corley versus Thompson, side by side through the parabolica. Thompson trying to sing it all the way around the outside. Then they go 2 wide, settling in. Who's going to be last to break? 2 wide, 2 deep in the background as Hellwood and Johnson go side by side and trying to nip his way through. Brilliant stuff there to go for 2 and 1, even make it 3 wide, threading the needle through the middle.
Yeah, I think Jono Johnson back down on that one. There's definitely not a chance he was going to get through. Corley's running on the outside down into turn 8. Oh, there's going to be contact. Corley up on 2 wheels. Jono Johnson battling away further back as well with Andy Thompson. He's given Thompson a little bit of a nice little shoulder barge there as well. And unfortunately, these guys are battling it out. down the order, mind you, for 22nd, 23rd place, but they're not stopping, and Russell Fowler is now alongside his teammate. How is this going to work out here as well? From Performance Esports, Link Esports team, and Russell Fowler and Andy Thompson are mixing it out there as well. But Ryan Dudley is at the front of this train of Sam Smith, Dan Mould, Reece Watt, Gary Craig, JB Deju, and in front he's got Crowther, Garrett Ian Fry. Poor old Ryan Dudley is, well, he's going to be feeling the pressure here as well, isn't he, Zach? Being a pro and am mix between these guys.
Yeah, well, as we said with Watt in the first race, doesn't really care about the classes. You're just trying to stretch your advantage, close the gap. It doesn't matter who's between you and your goal. You've got to dispatch of them as quickly as possible. But the mix and match is definitely an awkward affair because you're making an overtake, but you're not really, I guess you're not really gaining anything for it in terms of championship points. However, the gap for the lead is now under a second. Also a bit of side-by-side. There's Craig and Smith, too wide into the hairpin. It's been the prime overtaking opportunity. The Hyundai of Craig tries to go the long way round, does exactly that with Smith caught napping on the throttle response off the exit of the hairpin. The race one winner up now into 8th place. And again, because of the train-like nature of these races, he's not a million miles away from a good position. Yes, he's in 8th, but play his cards right in the final half of this race. Top 5, podium, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, definitely there as well. I have turned my mic up a little bit, RS, as well. Thank you very much for that one. And hopefully that is doing what it needs to be doing now as well. You can hear me relatively easy, but it is Gary Craig making his way up 7 places into 8th at the moment. Dudley there from Team Lonely Welshman. Gotta love it. There with Dan Mould from SRL behind him. So we're going to have to see how this one pans out here for Dudley, whether or not he's going to be able to hold on to Mould, or once more is he going to be able to be under pressure here. Time will tell as the race keeps going on. Still hell with Jono Johnson, Neil Forbes, Russell Fowler having a battle further down. Sam Smith has gone into the pits. Steve Howard went off track. Andy Thompson has been off at the same time. I think that's probably where it's happening, down in turn 1. And once they just start running through there, Zach, it's very hard to stop it. It's easier to take the off track here as well. Dan Mould's died, Ryan Dudley. Oh, Dudley's going to get pushed out. Can he get the inside line for the next corner? It's going to be working out side by side. There's no contact there as well. Absolutely amazing job from these guys as they go running down the Parabolica now. Down into the Spitz curve. Reece Watt is still not going up. He's still not on the blackout yet. He's still bringing the electric, providing it all is Watt as he's running down into the Spitz curve. He gets down Mould. Is Mould going to send it out the inside? They were 3 wide briefly for a minute. Dudley's going to try to cut back. Gary Craig's going to sit there and watch all this happening here, Zach. And Gary Craig can just get his popcorn and think, well, this is nice, you guys carry on.
He's going to be having a lovely view, a lovely show in front of him, and it's probably one that he's going to want to get a good old 4D experience of, get himself into the mix and really get involved, get in touch with what's going on. There is obviously Watt just in front of him. Reece Watt is not many miles away. Probably could have gone for a move if he really played his cards right. Final half of the race now is 9 minutes and 15 seconds left to go into the Mobile 1 curve once again. Oh wow, Gary Craig, you've got to take curb to rotate the car, but too much and it bottoms out and it rotates too much, and well, that's how spins happen. But fortunately Gary Craig has it all under control.
Yeah, I would say he has it all under control, but he only just has it under control there as well. Fortunately as well, Reece Watt did the same thing. He went off at the same corner, so unfortunately they both did exactly the same thing at exactly the same time, and it was just unfortunate there that for Gary Craig, if he managed to hold it on, he might have been able to get that position past Watt. But again, both men doing exactly the same thing. A Mould up on 2 wheels round turn 1. He's gone now up 6 places into 5th currently at the moment. And there's all battles all the way through, even down here with Fraser Alexander. Steve Woodcock fighting out for 25th, 24th and 23rd place. I'm trying to find where Dan Sedgley is at the moment. He's up here in 15th. 3.4 seconds. He's up 21 places. The biggest gainer of the whole entire race too. Sedgley at the back, mind you, after his race 1 poor finish, and he's now up 21 places, and he's got 2.7 to Kev Eilert, and Jay Corley has not got that back to Tom Bingham at the moment here, Zach. He's got literally about, well, a 10th currently on Bingham. Is going to try and give him a run into the Spitzker here, side by side. Bingham on the left, Corley on the right. Behind that as well is Steve Aylward. Oh!
Huge, and it might have got Hailwood involved as well. Slight little tap, both of them pointing opposite directions. Jay Corley, it's the right way. Wow, that is not what you want to see. I'll be honest, I'm as to how that actually happened. It almost just looked like he right hand down on the straight. We're right on board with Jay Corley as they
does he hit the grass?
Through. I mean, he's braking, brakes on the curb, brakes on the grass, boink in a bit. There we go, rolls backwards. I have to say that is wholeheartedly on Jay Corley there.
Yeah, poor old Tom Bingham there was right minding his own business, and next thing you know, he's got this flying car coming at him, this flying Honda, and unfortunately Corley manages to stay in 19th place, mind you, but probably not going to be flavour of the month, and I'd be very surprised if he gets a Christmas card. Dudley running wide, he's going to lose a position to Reece Watt and Gary Craig. Craig's got the inside down into turn 1. Is he going to be able to muscle his way through? He is. Gary Craig now up into 7th place after starting down in 15th, so an incredible job there. Russell Fowler still fighting it out here as well with Neil Forbes, with Andrew Lovesey behind him, and Neil Ridley still battling away with Dan Lewis and John Brown. So John Brown is back on track again and running once more here in VR, of course. Oh no, there isn't John. Where you gone, John?
He's seeing the light is what he's doing. I mean, after a race like this, I don't blame half the people. I mean, the amount of crashes and carnage, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's taking the ascend up to the sim racing god. Side by side, John Brown trying to pick his way through. He is still going on, but all the way down in P30 overall. That is not where he would have wanted to see at all. Continuing to go side by side, it'll be the inside for Brown, who finds his way now up into P29, which, yay, a position gained, but it's P29. It's not really where you want to be as a racing driver. But again, they're cutting our attention up and down as Sam Smith is fighting along with Delaunay. And there's changes up and down. Wherever you look, really, the time and tower is moving in some capacity.
Yep. Battles all the way through. Craig Waters here in 10th with JB Deju behind him and Jessica Rakowski behind that as well. With Kev Eilert, there's still battles up front. McCain is hanging on. Stephen Fry is literally hanging on by the skin of his teeth here with Fraser Garrity behind him, and then Deck Crowther has got Dan Mould behind that as well. So this could be a nice little tidy five-way as we go into the last 5 minutes here, Zach, and it's going to be an interesting one, I think, as well. And I'd love to see McCain hold on, right? And I'm not going to lie, it would be like a favourites victory, but it is going to be tough for him with the likes of Fry, Garrity, Crowther, and Mould behind him. He's going to have what, maybe 3 more laps, and it's going to be flat out right tough.
It really is. It's crunch time now. Dan Mould looking to the inside, pick his way up to 4th place. Bit by bit, he's fighting his way to the top, ascending his way towards the race victory, the podium. Who knows? If it stays as close as it is, if he plays his card right, if he picks his way through bit by bit, gets past Garrity, gets into this fight between McCain and Fry, who knows what could happen for the reigning champion. His redemption arc from race number 1. What's going to happen into the Spitzker hairpin? No changes amongst the top 5. No changes behind that either. Maybe Stephen Fry. Wow, he is looking very aggressive and putting the pressure onto McCain.
Yeah, he definitely is here as well. He was nose deep in McCain's bumper there at one point. Kev Eilert has made a change. Lost it. Looks like he was all of a sudden going to be up into a position, and I got a funny feeling Kev Eilert may have had a little bit of an issue. He did, and Rakowski got through there, unfortunately for Eilert. I wonder if that's assisted here from Kev Eilert. Did he assist, or did Rakowski assist him? Yeah, pick that one apart. Not going to try and get myself involved in that. Fry with Garrity trying to run around the outside. Mole's trying to go up the inside. Garrity takes his nose off once more. Says, nope, not this time. We're going to have 2 laps remaining here. And it's going to be a very exciting 2 laps with Stephen Fry, Fraser Garrity and Dan Mould. Can Garrity hold on as well for the leading AM? It looks like it's going to be tough, surely, with Dan Mould behind him.
It will be indeed. I mean, there's probably no one really worse you want to see in your rearview mirror, I'll be honest. I mean, it's a good sight to be in front of the reigning champion, particularly, I guess, as an AM. No offence, obviously, to anyone in the amateur class, but for Dan Mould to be in your mirrors is definitely a good sign. However, how long is that going to last? Ducking, diving, outside line, for Molds. No way through for now, but he definitely looks daunting. Right up against the rear bumper of Fraser Geraghty, who's now closing the gap to Stephen Fry, is going side by side with Fry, who's got to slow down. Both of them able to find a way through. McCain, Geraghty, Mold, the top three, as we enter ourselves onto the penultimate lap of this race.
Yeah, are we going to have an AM victory? Dan Mold's going to go for the dive on Geraghty. Doors open. Geraghty didn't defend him off. They're going to be side by side. Geraghty's going to get a better run out. On up into turn 7, he's going to have the inside for turn 8. If he could just manage to hold this side by side with Dan Mold. Mold's on the inside of us. Geraghty's giving him room. He's going to take the inside line. Geraghty's hard on the brakes. They're going to be side by side going round 8. Geraghty's got to try and open up the steering just a little bit. He puts Mold off. Mold, oh! I thought Mold was coming back into the side of Geraghty there. And unfortunately for Mold, he's now got Crowther running up beside him as well. Yeah, for going to be the final lap of the race, Zach. It's going to be a tough one here, and it looks like Alan McCain might hold on.
It's going to be a fight for the ages, let's put it that way. What can Alan McCain do? The gap about a second. Fraser Geraghty up 4 places. Dan Mold up 8. He has been fighting and clawing and climbing and just battling his way tooth and nail. He's been through the wars today as the reigning champion, but he's kept a straight face. He's been smiling. He's been composed as ever, and he is now got one more go around the Hockenheimring to see what he can muster. He's got himself onto the podium. Check. Barney the flagman waves the white flag one more time around for race number 2 of the opening round of the SRL TCR season number 6. Who's going to come out on top? Who knows? The slipstream is powerful. It's going to come down to this. Who gets the exit?
Yep. It's all now whether or not Geraghty can get onto the back of McCain. It's coming down. It's half a second. Dropped below a half a second. You can see it on the left-hand side. He's not going to be close enough. I think he needed to be about 3 tenths coming out the corner. He's only going to roughly get it down to about 3.5 here. Looks like he's going to be trying to put him off. Didn't do it this time around. Can Geraghty get on to the back of McCain? Can McCain hold on? He's got no fewer than about 6 corners left as Alan McCain, and it's now going to be tough for him as Geraghty's closed the gap and nearly on 4 tenths as well for the final part. On board we go with Geraghty. He's going to be looking at the inside of Mercedes, not this time. Mold doesn't look up either. Geraghty takes his line. He's got the run with McCain coming out of 8, goes through 9. Off to 10 they go, and on the run up into 11. Can he do this, Zach? What do we reckon with literally about 5 corners remaining?
Each time he turns the steering wheel, it's one less opportunity for him to take. He needs an almighty run through the Mobile 1 curve. He's not close enough. As long as McCain keeps it tidy, it's his race to lose. Fraser Geraghty, it's been an outstanding race from him in the AM class to take not only the AM victory, but a P2 overall. A couple corners left to go, but there's going to be no changes, but any miracles.
Yeah, unfortunately for Geraghty, not going to be able to get it done. It looks like McCain is going to hold on for the race victory here in race 2. He's going to go across the line. He's going to take that victory. Geraghty's going to hold on. Dan Mold's going to be in second. Crowther with a second place in the AMs. Stephen Fry there. Ryan Dudley all coming across the line. But it's still battles further back. Corley is trying to fight here, but Fowler and Neil Forbes are fighting it out as well for 8th and 9th in class. We're on board with Forbes. It looks like Fowler's going to get it this time. Corley's going to end up 10th in pros there as well. But Stephen Woodcock, wow, he has literally got Andy Thompson right attached to him there as they go. He's come across the line as well. Great job from them. And then further down, here comes John Brown, Daniel Lewis, Hilton Nickerson, Neil Ridley, and Jonathan Cook with Ian Smith are the last ones across the track. But it is McCain with Mold, with Fry in the pros, and then it's Geraghty, Crowther and Dudley in the AMs, your top 3, and an absolutely stellar job from all of these guys. Absolutely amazing evening of racing. 2 races to go. Done here as well. Round 1 finished. If you want to get yourself involved, Discord's down in the description links on the SRL and the JPB YouTube channel, so you can get yourself down in and join in if you really want to. Not sure, there might not actually be any places left. I believe they maxed out at the 40. Obviously we've only got 36 on track here currently at the moment, but You can always be on a little standby list just in case as well. And don't forget, guys, JPB are running the Clios and the GT4 leagues. Clio's only got about 4 places left. The GT4s have got a little bit more. Again, links down in the description below. You can join the JPB Discord and get yourself involved with that one once more. So you can be involved in the GT4s or the little Clios, racing around some epic short tracks as always that car can do. But here are the results from Heat 2 here, and it is Alan McCain on top with Fraser Garrity in second, Dan Mould third, Deck Crowther fourth, Stephen Fry fifth, Gary Craig sixth, Ryan Dudley seventh, Reese Watt eighth, Matt Elmore ninth, Craig Walters 10th, JB Deju in 11th, Jessica Rakowski in 12th place. Dan Sedgley battled up to 13th in the end. He gained 23 places. Absolutely stellar job from Sedgley there. Kev Eilert in 14th, Johnny Johnson 15th, Andrew Lovesey 16th, and Russell Fowler down in 17th place. Then beyond that, you've got Neil Forbes, Jay Corley, Fraser Alexander, Andy Thompson, Steve Woodcock, James Ellis, Sam Smith, Cabernet Delaunay, Luke Jones and John Brown in the end to come back in to 27th. Dan Lewis, Hilton Nicholson, Neil Ridley, John Cook, Ian Smith, Tom Bingham, Elliot James, Steve Howard, and then Chris Barnes is the final one across the race track there to cross the finishing line. Absolutely epic end there, Zach. Not a bad race too at all.
Definitely not. Can't complain. Let's put it that way. I mean, we were on our toes all the way to the end. The Hockenheimring always delivers. Doesn't matter what layout it is. 4.53 kilometers of absolute greatness. Touring cars, this grid of drivers. What more did we expect?
Yeah, absolutely there as well. And we've got Derek Crowther, Alan McCain and Fraser Garrity. I think we'll do Mr. Fraser Garrity first. Welcome in, Fraser. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, James. How are you?
Mate, I'm not bad at all. I've just watched you take a second place in a winning class. Not bad even in a racing for you whatsoever.
No, it's not too bad. Good start to the season, that is.
Not too shabby there, sir. Not too shabby.
Tough race. Managed to keep Dan behind for that one bend. Just one more lap, I reckon it would have been close with me and Alan.
You reckon?
Yeah, gutted about Stephen's race. We had a great race. So the slow down was really important.
Yeah, it's always tough when you get a slow down in general, isn't it, on a racetrack? But, you know, one that I think it just comes with the nature of racing there as well. What's the aim, Fraser? What's the aim this season? Are you going out for that win? Are you wanting to take the title as the champion?
Nah, I want to be in here more, James.
You want to come and have a chat with me?
Yeah, we'll have a chat. Sod the championship. I'll just come in here weekly if I can.
Yeah, mate, why not? I don't mind a good old chat. But that's got to be the aim, right? You've got to go for it, haven't you? Set yourself targets.
I mean, it's starting off well, so we might as well try and aim high and see if we can go for the champ. But we'll see what happens. Each race is different, you know that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So we'll see. We'll just keep my fingers crossed and see what happens.
Round 2 at Oschersleben. I'm not a lover of that circuit, I've got to be honest, from my point of view. But what about yours?
Oh, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I haven't had good luck in the past there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, good luck, mate. I hope it works out for you and we get to talk to you in 2 weeks' time again. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just to Dan and John, hopefully put on a good season like last season and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure it'll be a great season here as well. Well, Fraser, thank you very much for joining us there, bud. Take care and I'll catch up with you soon.
James. See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now we've got the pro winner, Alan McCain, in the booth. Alan, how are you, sir?
Very good.
Very...
Yourself?
I'm not bad, mate. I've just seen you take a victory, up 1 place at the start, and, well, that was it, really. I'm not going to say that you weren't under pressure, because deeply you were, but you managed to hold on right till the end.
Yeah, it was first ever SRL win, so that's a bonus.
Absolutely. You know, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it on the opening round in the race 2. Get it done on the reverse. Job done for you, though, sir. You know, going forward, favourite tracks of the calendar this season?
To be honest, I can't even remember what's on the calendar.
All right, let me refresh your memory. Round 2, you go to Oschersleben. Round 3, Catalonia National. Round 4, Donny National. Round 5, Zandvoort. Round 6, Knockhill International Reverse.
So we'll go with round 2. wherever that was, I can't even mind.
Oschersleben.
Oschersleben and Zandvoort and Knockhill.
Okay, well, you're the opposite to Fraser. He doesn't like Oschersleben. So
I do. I've had good results at Oschersleben before.
where are your targets, Alan? Where are your targets this season?
Top 5, possibly.
Well, if you keep doing that, you will, surely.
I hope so. Just pity about the teammate just getting taken out in turn 1 on race 2. But we'll fight back. We'll put our heads together and fight back.
Yeah, I'm sure Sam Smith will come back stronger there as well. Well, Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
Just big shout out to John and Dan for putting the league on, and yourself for doing the fantastic broadcast that you do.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that one, Alan. And we'll look forward to having a chat with you probably in a couple of weeks' time at Oschersleben.
I hope so.
Take care, buddy.
You too.
Right, now next up we're going to bring in both of these together. I'm going to chance a double interview here. Wish me luck with Dan Mould and John Brown. Of course, John was...
Double ender.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you? You interrupted my introduction there as well. God blimey.
I'm sure it would have been fabulous.
Well, it would have been. It's a bit late now. You know what I mean? It's gone out the window, isn't it? But your race 1 was fabulous, John. Your race 2, not so much.
Yeah. I meant to talk about race 1. I've forgotten race 2 already. Yeah, P3. I was pleased with that. Race 2, I got caught up by somebody who got caught up by somebody. So, yeah, that's pretty much race over. I had to limp it round to the pits. But yeah, no, race 3, P3, really good. I had a really good fight with Andy throughout the whole race, pretty much. But he kept on hitting curbs that would slow him down, and I just had to pick my time.
Yeah, definitely were as well. Dan, welcome in. How are you, sir?
I'm good, yeah. Good.
Not a bad race 2?
Oh, race 2 was all right. Race 2 was a little bit disappointed in. I had a bit of a coming together with Steve Halewood on turn 1. Tried to slow it down and hit the sausage curve, and unfortunately, he came off worse off with the door banging.
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen with 38 cars on track, right? You're going to get that.
Yeah, you are. But when you're involved, you feel bad.
Especially
when you're the admin.
Well, yeah, you kind of just move on, because if you weren't the admin, you'd be in no different position than the driver who unfortunately made contact. Overall, gentlemen, it's been an great opening start. Yes, there was contact, yes, there was incidents, and yes, there was accidents, but that at the end of the day is what TCR is all about, really. Not obviously causing major ones, but a little bit of door banging here and there ain't going to hurt anyone. Going forward, though, guys, as well, mixed response on round 2. Fraser Garrity does not like Oschersleben. Alan McCain does like Oschersleben. What about you, John? What do you think?
Never raced it. Don't even own it yet. So I'll tell you next week.
Yeah, you might want to get on that one, mate.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Snetterton, which I don't really like, but I'm hoping it's not. So yeah, I'll get it downloaded.
Hang on. Did you just say you don't like Snetterton?
Yeah, that's really boring, that track.
I know I'm a bit irrelevant when it comes to interviews, but you've just really hurt me, John. I'll be honest. That is.
Yeah, the only interesting bit is that bum hole at the end.
I'm sure you like chucking it into the bum hole.
Bum hole. Sorry, bum
hole.
Yeah. Bum hole. Yes.
Let me add, guys. John doesn't like anything.
You just don't want to be going deep into the bum hole. Let's just put it that way. No, it will not go down well.
Let's hope it's wet.
Right, now we can... Oh, dearie me. Yeah. If it's ever going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong at the end. But, John, you're going to have to get on Oschersleben, mate. You need to get the practice in. Yeah. Dan, great evening of racing, boys, as well. How are we fixed for places? Are we full up in the TCRs?
Well, we might not be after tonight. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we're gonna have to stick with 40. It's, as you see tonight, it's a busy ass grid. It's a busy old grid.
Thank you.
It's a busy old grid. I don't think any more. I think more cars would it would hinder it. I think, if anything. So yeah, we're I think we're full. Yeah, we did allow more sign-ups in season 5, but that was because we had a lot of dropouts. But no, we're going to stick with 40, and if people leave accordingly, then we'll just keep going. One of the reasons why we chose 40 is because we know in any league people over time, hopefully not, but people tend to drop out over the over the course of it. But even with a 25-30 car grid, it's still a good grid. So
yeah, it definitely is there as well. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Dan, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go? Please don't shout out yourself. It's a bit self-confident.
It's just everyone who's been a part. Yeah. Everyone who's
John Brown.
John Brown, yeah. Everyone's been acknowledging the massive amounts of messages I put in Discord, and there's been people who've really responded well to the fact that me and John do put a lot of time into this league, and we get some good feedback, so it makes it all worthwhile. So yeah, everyone who's involved and watching, yourself, Zach, can't wait to watch it back, and yeah, good, and myself.
No, guys. John, what about yourself?
Dan Mould, of course.
Of course.
Without him, yourself, everyone who races, everyone. Because without them, it just wouldn't happen.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
John?
Looking forward to next week. Yep.
Got Oshkosh downloaded, sir. Need to get some driving in.
I will do.
All right, mate. Well, guys, you take care.
See you, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Right. And the final interview here is Mr. Kevin Lawley. Welcome in, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, bud. Not too bad. Am I getting your first name right? Because otherwise,
so it's Caveney. Caveney is how it's pronounced.
Clearly not, then.
No, you're not far off. I've had a lot worse in the past, so it's not too far off.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes me feel a little bit better, but, still not great. How was it for you out there on track?
It's not the debut I was hoping for, I'll be honest. Technical difficulties starting off the first race. Started from the pit lane. Managed to get up to 20th, I think it was, so it wasn't too bad. And then the second race, I came into contact with somebody. I need to check the replay and see what happened there, but that pretty much ruined my second race, and I was down to the back of the grid.
Yeah, I think, though, when you've got a 36-car grid and you've got TCRs, it's something that's likely to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I say, I'm not too sure what happened. I don't know if I kind of pushed him out or if he came back onto the track. Without looking, I'm not too sure what happened. But yeah, it's door-to-door racing, bumper to bumper, so these sort of things are expected, I think.
Yeah, definitely there as well. I think that's the going forward. I think that's definitely what TCRs is all about. How are you feeling about the calendar? Oschersleben next up on the calendar. Do you like it?
I haven't raced there once, if I'm honest with you. So I haven't got a clue. I'll have to have a play back on that and see what it's like. But I'm looking forward to Catalonia and Donington. Donington's my local track. So, yeah, it'll be good to get to Donington. Hopefully score some points up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Dan and John, SRL, the guys that set this up, and everybody that's in the Discord. Everyone's super friendly. Yeah, really good bunch of people.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much there, Caveney. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having a chat as the season goes on.
Thank you very much, buddy. Catch you later.
Take care. Well, there you go. Zach, it's been an eventful evening of racing, and I think one that we can sit back and enjoy overall. Not a bad start to the season.
Definitely not. I mean, off the back of the fun race and the media day, obviously, not really much else we expected. We knew coming into the season it was going to be great. It just seemed that as soon as points were on offer, people just gave it that little bit extra, and we're not complaining with that little bit extra. Every little helps, and two fantastic races. Bring on Oschersleben.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. That rounds out tonight's broadcast. Thank you, VJ, for joining us there as well. I was hoping for Snetterton on the GAR 86 next season. It's why I got iRacing. Really? That's the only reason? But thank you to everybody that's joined us. RS, thank you very much. Handsome Stew. Phil, as always, for coming in. Gamer K as well, popping in between races. Adam Wright. Toxic Munchkin, as always, here, and thank you so much for joining us in this epic start to this season. Join us next week for the GR86s, but don't forget to join us tomorrow when we've got a sim racing for simpletons. Zach, you're on that now, bud. Is that going to be a good one with the F3s?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal in Canada. Myself and Dean Biggles are going to tackle some Formula 3 machinery. It's been a great season up until now, so I've got no doubt there's going to be even greater off the back of Road Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us as well. And good luck to anybody taking part in the Nords 24 this weekend. Hope you all get your victories that you so just deserve. But before myself and Zach Sweeney this evening, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.